Going into the 2022-2023 NBA season, there was so much optimism for the Detroit Pistons, and I think this all started last season after the All-Star break. We saw the Detroit Pistons make a trade for Marvin Bagley, and we also saw this team get fully healthy. And I feel like once those two things happened, the Detroit Pistons look like a completely different ball club on both the offensive and the defensive side of the ball. We then saw them beat some high quality NBA teams, and my favorite win from that season is when they were able to go on the road to TD Garden and they defeated the Boston Celtics on their home court. So I feel like the Pistons, they ended the season on a great note and they carried that energy over into the off season. I feel like the Detroit Pistons, I feel like they had one of the best off seasons in all of the NBA. We look at what they were able to do on draft night. They were able to bring in Jalen Duren and Jaden Ivey, and they also made some great trades that offseason. They were able to make some trades for some high-level three-point shooters, Alec Burks and Bogdan Bogdanovic, and both of those guys can do a little bit of everything on the offensive side of the ball. So with all of these factors, the Detroit Pistons looking so good in the second half of the previous NBA season. I feel like they added a lot of talent in the offseason. I thought they were going to be a lot better than what we are today, and I'm not saying they were going to be a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference, but I definitely didn't think it was going to be another year where we had to hope that we get 25 wins this season, and that's what it looks like we're trending towards this year. I think we currently have the worst record in the NBA, and we have a record of 3-15. Now, at first, I was not severely worried about the Detroit Pistons' slow start to the season for a multitude of reasons. Number one, we have not seen this team fully healthy yet. To start the year, we were missing Alec Burks and Marvin Bagley, and once those two guys were cleared to play, Cade Cunningham and Isaiah Stewart, they both go down for the foreseeable future. All 4 of these guys are key rotational players, and Cade Cunningham is the best player on our team. And reason number 2, the Detroit Pistons, they simply have had a very tough schedule to start the year. We've seen them play the Milwaukee Bucks twice, the Boston Celtics twice, the Atlanta Hawks twice. All 3 of those teams are high-level NBA teams. And then reason number 3, watching some of these Pistons games that they have lost, they've been right in the ball game, they've been winning, and they just let those games slip away. So for these reasons, I was never worried, severely worried. I always thought that they could have, turned it around and at least made the record look a little bit more respectable. But with the recent Cade Cunningham news, I don't know if that's going to happen, and this is why I think the Detroit Pistons, why this season is becoming a true nightmare. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Cade Cunningham has missed the last 5 games for the Detroit Pistons, and the reason he wasn't playing, he was dealing with a shin injury, and when he was first diagnosed, it was just diagnosed as shin soreness, and he was to rest for a few games, and whenever that soreness went away, he would be cleared to play. Now, once he got re-evaluated, they found out that his injury is a lot worse than what they initially expected. They're now saying that he has, or he might have, a stress fracture on his shin, and he's going to be out for an extended amount of time. There's no timetable for his return just yet, so right now he's out indefinitely. And while I was reading this article, it said that it's up to Cade Cunningham whether he wants to let his leg naturally heal just by resting, or he can get leg surgery. It's completely up to him, and there's a possibility that he can miss the remainder of this season. Now, this is a lot to take in, and this is some huge news for the Detroit Pistons. And the first thing I want to say is that I wish Cade Cunningham a speedy and healthy recovery. Hope he gets to 100% as soon as possible, but not for the sake of the Detroit Pistons, but for the sake of him as a human being. We hope he gets healthy as soon as possible. And we look at what this means for the Detroit Pistons Pistons. It means a lot. This was going to be a big year for Cade Cunningham. He was going into his second year in the NBA after finishing off his rookie campaign pretty strong. And I would say so far this season, we look back at last year's draft class, we look at that big three of him, Scotty Barnes, and Evan Mobley. I think so far this season, he was playing the best. We look at his numbers, he's putting up 20 points per game to go along with 6 assists and 6 rebounds. And then he had like a 3 or 4 game stretch where he was playing out of his mind, averaging almost 30 points per game to go along with like 8 assists and 8 rebounds. So this was going to be a big development year for Cade Cunningham. He was going to get some a lot more experience. I don't know why I'm talking like that. It's not set in stone that the season is over for him, but the way that they were making it seem is that he's going to be out for a while. So this injury has a huge effect on Cade Cunningham as an individual, and it also has a huge effect on the Detroit Pistons as a organization. And one thing I look at is what we did in this year's draft. We went out and we got Cade Cunningham and electrifying backcourt partner in Jaden Ivey. We also got Jalen Duren on draft night, and I just know one of the biggest goals of this season was to get these guys acclimated with each other and build chemistry. I feel like that's a given. You want, especially Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, with these guys sharing the backcourt, you want them to have as many reps and real game situations together as possible. And with Cade Cunningham being out for the foreseeable future, that's going to be put on hold. So that's something that's a little disappointing. And also, man, Cade Cunningham, the impact that he has out there on the court is very underrated. And this is why, you know, I'm a little worried now, because he just generates so much offense and he generates so much attention. And when he's out there, he's just getting guys wide open looks, but his playing style and his skill set. So now I feel like offensively, there's going to be some points in the season where it gets rough, and getting consistent offense and getting consistent open looks. We look at that game against the Sacramento Kings. We had that game, but late in the ball game, when the crowd started getting louder, we couldn't get into no consistent offensive sets. And I know if we had Cade Cunningham out there, he could have set up himself and his teammates for some easier looks. So, you know, that's some things that I'm looking at. And also, man, not Cade Cunningham, but Killian Hayes, he's going to be seeing the court a lot more. So I'm hoping that he takes advantage of getting these additional reps and getting this additional play-in times, and he can turn his spurts that he have into consistency. We talked about this before, where he'll have a game where he gets 16 points and 6 assists and 6 rebounds, and he shoots it decently from the field. He's playing great defense, and then the next game he comes out and he scores 2 points, 1 rebounds, and 2 assists. So hopefully, with him getting additional reps and additional minutes, hopefully that could be a great thing for him. But this Cade Cunningham injury, really unfortunate, and it seems like this season is turning into a nightmare. I'm still going to tune into every Detroit Pistons game, because I love watching these guys play. Love watching Bogdanovich, Jaden Ivey, Alec Burks. Since he's come back, he's been very fun to watch. He's the ultimate bucket. But that's going to be it for today's video, man. Just wanted to talk about that with you guys. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below if you agree or disagree, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtains.